Welcome back, Drew.
I know. It's been like 6 years or...
This is the Cavemen Media Podcast. We took a couple extra days to put out this podcast. Drew has been out for 2 weeks now, so welcome him back. Good to have you back, buddy.
Not
buddy.
2 weeks, just one
Yeah,
show.
it's been nice without you.
What was Drew doing? Let's make up something funny that Drew was doing.
Practicing pull-out game.
Practicing his pull-out game.
I can live with
All
that.
right. If you don't know what that means, make sure you stay tuned for the bloopers.
It might be
I
weak.
think
We might
everybody
know
knows
in,
what that means.
we might know in 4 to 6 weeks how my pull-out game is. So
Oh, all right.
All right.
Welcome in. We're back. This is the Cavemen Media Podcast. We appreciate you. Got a heavy show for you guys. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review to this podcast, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. I think that's our main focus right now. It's Apple Podcasts and YouTube because that's essentially where you guys listen. Our YouTube numbers are freaking awesome. Our YouTube numbers feels good. Feels good, right?
Swell.
Swell. It's swell.
Could be better.
Could be better, absolutely. Always room for improvement. Make sure you guys send us any questions you guys have for the show, any recommendations.
hey Matt, do you have any idea what our YouTube numbers are?
They're doing swell.
They're doing swell, like Connor said. So make
That's
sure
all
you
that
check
matters.
out
Glad you guys know.
cavemen-media.com, cavemen-media.com to check out our website. You can check out the podcast, YouTube, all that stuff on there, as well as all of our merch. We still got bucket hats, we still got t-shirts, we still got tank tops. It's still hot outside, and we'll have new stuff coming this fall for sure. YouTube giveaway. We talked about YouTube giveaway. You guys know about the YouTube giveaway?
Yeah,
I'll explain
$100.
it for you. I'll explain it for you. We're going to give away $100 when we get to 100 subscribers. We're currently sitting at, I believe, 72 subscribers, so we're 28 away. We're right there to giving away that $200. So all you got to do, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then leave your cash tag, whether it's Cash App or Venmo, in the comments of any of our videos, and we will give you $100 if you win.
So speaking of YouTube, how many likes?
That's what I'm checking right now.
We didn't make it.
I forgot.
We didn't make it.
Let me look.
it's at-
There wasn't a time
We
limit
only
on
made it
it.
halfway there.
We have 30 likes.
30
Oh.
likes. So last week I said I would shave my head, Mr. Clean, skin bald, if we got 65 likes on that video. We didn't make it. So I'm safe. I want to do it though. So if you want to go back and like that video and get
That's
65.
what I'm saying. There ain't no time
That's
limit
fine.
on it.
There's
If
no
you haven't
time
liked
limit.
it, go like it.
Dude,
7 years
Chelsea's
down the
got
road.
one of those. It's not a straight razor, but it literally takes you to where you could use like a razor you shave your face with. So
I'm down.
We can hook you up.
I will do it. So just make sure you go back and like last week's video, and I'll shave my head and boom.
Yeah, I listened. I heard Matt talk about a bikini. I'm like, I'm gonna get the password and delete that video before we got to see Matt in a bikini.
100 likes and you can see Matt in a bikini.
Yeah, that was a 1
That's
week.
up to you guys. If you want to get to 65 and just kind of stop, that's fine. If you want Matt in a bikini, that's 100 likes. So
Or
that'll
subscribe
cost
to
you.
his OnlyFans.
I am on OnlyFans.
Just like
Are you?
everybody else,
Yeah,
he's joining
yeah.
the trend.
So this past weekend, the boys and I, minus Drew, went down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and had a hell of a time. Right?
Hell of a time, yeah. It was great.
It convinced me it was great.
What?
You sounded like it sucked.
So it was really good. We stayed up in a cabin. That was the first time that I've ever stayed up in a cabin, like up in the mountains. So that was pretty sweet.
We were up there.
I mean, there was no more up from where we were. So, I mean, it was pretty
It took
sweet.
like 15 minutes to get out of the mountain.
Yeah, so you're like, and then the drive there.
You're like,
I was about to say,
And then the drive there.
I was about to say how far it took us to get up the mountains like Matt did, and then I jogged my memory of the
Yeah.
terrible drive
we
to get
gotta,
there.
The
we gotta
worst
backtrack
drive
real
ever.
quick. Yeah, so Gatlinburg is what? 5.5
Like
hours?
5.5,
I think
6.
it's right at 5.
5.5.
it's right
Like-
at 5 if you don't drive like.
It's 5, but it takes you an hour to get through
Yes.
fucking Pigeon Forge
True.
in Gatlinburg.
True.
So 5.5 hours, we'll call it. Anyway, it took us about 8 hours just to get to Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
It was fucking brutal.
Connor kept trying to reroute us, and
There
it
was that
got worse and worse.
No, I did not do anything. I followed my
Terrible
GPS.
accident on 75 somewhere in the middle of Kentucky with some semi trucks or something, and we had to
Fatal.
get off the highway onto these windy, small, narrow roads, and it was brutal.
One-
Took us like 45 minutes once we hit traffic to get off the highway.
Yeah, so 8 hours it took us to get to Pigeon Forge. Yeah, that was pretty
Fucking
brutal.
awful,
I will
yeah.
say it was brutal, but it got better. We had a beautiful cabin. We had a beautiful view.
I will
Drank a
say
lot of
though,
cold beer.
Taylor, Cody's wife, did say I was a better driver than him on the way
I
down.
think she did.
She did. She definitely did. I can get a
I
quote.
think that's only the only reason she said that was because I was the one that had to end up driving through all the windy shit. So
I'm pretty
Not
sure I
fair.
drove through most of it.
not fair. So yeah, Gatlinburg vlog will be coming up soon, right, Connor?
By Friday.
Friday. All right, holding you to it. Friday.
So tomorrow, if you're listening on today.
Yep, it'll be out tomorrow.
Wow, so what? Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, one of the toughest
gonna be
things
confusing.
to do. The toughest things to do
Play
What's
golf.
that?
for Matt, yes. But when you go on vacation, and like the day before you go vacation, you got one more day of work left, and then you go to vacation. You're like already in vacation mode.
Yeah, and it's the longest day
It's the
humanly
longest day,
possible.
yes. But it's so hard to get out of vacation mode when you come back home. And it just, I mean, real life just slaps you right in the face.
I always get super depressed
Oh,
at the
it's
day
so
after
depressing.
vacation.
It's
Yeah.
so depressing.
You know, I haven't been on vacation in a long time or anything, but
But you can relate.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's horrible coming back from vacation.
You know, people say the Sunday scaries and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
When you get back,
Sunday scaries are a real thing.
times 10 when you come
Yes.
back from vacation.
What's
That's why
Sunday
we always
scaries?
go Saturday to Saturday. That way you have Sunday to chill.
That's why I took Monday off when we got back on Sunday, and I'm like, all right, I still got another day.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was a good time. Check out the vlog coming soon. Let's get into today's show. We've got our beer review. We're going to have a table segment. We've got Ranger Time. I've got a game for you guys. And breaking news, actually. We didn't even announce this.
I have some breaking news too, real quick.
I'll go first.
Breaking news that we can't tell you, so tune in.
Tune in next time.
We did do that to you guys last week. But this week, we actually do have some breaking news. At the end of this podcast, we are going to have former Jets scouts on the show, Daniel Kelly. So that is coming to you guys soon. Just listen to the podcast. That'll be at the end of the podcast. Connor, what are you breaking today?
My breaking news is that my friend Colton is stopping by, and I was thinking we're just going to throw him a mic.
Cool. Sweet.
Hell of news.
Hell of news, yeah.
Was that breaking news like 30
literally
seconds
breaking
ago?
news.
Text message, breaking news.
Yep.
All right.
You should have done the dun-na-na, na-na-na.
Let's do a beer review, shall we?
Let's.
Is that what we're doing?
Let's do the beer review. Let's do it right now. Matt, like every week, supplies the beer that we review. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see him slide over to the refrigerator,
Oh, so-
slide back with some beer.
I believe it was Tyler gave the cigar
These twist offs?
I got
What a hell of a problem that would be.
Yeah.
you, boys. If not,
Oh, they're not.
I'll show you how.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, come here.
Oh, they're
Don't break my
definitely-
fucking table.
Bring them over. Let me guys show you how a real man pops the tab on a beer. Give them to me.
I think my belt buckles.
Hey, let's make.
Beer tapper.
There's a thing on the fridge actually.
So Drew's popping our beers open for us.
Thanks, Dad.
This is our beer review. Like I said, Matt supplies the
welcome,
beer for each week's beer review. Today we have a Samuel Adams Boston Lager.
I'm not excited about this one. I know I shit on every beer we drink, but I'm not excited about
It
this
is
one.
distinctively complex and balanced, if you were wondering.
Well, first off, Boston, terrible city.
No, dude. Go Celtics. You know, beating the shit out of the Sixers. I'm for it.
30 IBUs. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
Blue.
I'm not.
IBU.
Has anybody tried a Samuel Adams in
Yes.
the past? You have?
Yes.
Oh my god.
This exact
just
one?
Once, a
take
bunch
a
of
whiff.
times.
Smell test.
I'm a big
Smells
fan.
Fine. Smells good.
I'm a big fan,
it.
so
Smells like
clank
piss.
some
Yeah.
beers
let's clink them.
Clinky clack.
Hey, Wednesdays are for the boys.
Cheers, boys.
Yeah. It's actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
It's
not bad.
delicious.
Surprising.
Better,
I love 'em.
better than you thought, Connor.
Better than I thought, but still not great.
When
It's definitely an IPA.
You say that every single week.
This shit has to be.
It's a Boston lager.
It's a
What the
Boston
fuck is the
lager.
difference?
Boston.
Boston.
It's a Sammy Adams.
It's a lager.
Shout out to Sammy Adams. Hell of a rapper, too.
Oh,
Sammy
dude,
Adams,
I
yeah.
love College.
I
That
love
was a
College.
banger back
That's
in the
not
day.
Sammy Adams.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
not the same Sammy Adams.
Not Sammy Adams.
I don't know if that song is Sammy Adams.
Sam Adams sings
No,
I Love College.
no,
or
that's
that's
Asher
Asher Roth.
Roth. Yeah.
Sammy Adams sings some rap songs. So
He does.
We'll
Just
play,
another,
we'll play some for you at the end of the show.
maybe.
But
Back when we were hooligans, we jammed to that. I know you.
I can tell you really know your stuff.
Yeah.
But the beer
Anyway.
itself, let's give it a quick rating here. Samuel Adams Boston Lager.
Second sip.
Is that your little Boston
A little,
accent?
little
Yep.
sour.
I like it.
It's dark. It's
Ooh, sour.
it's a dark
I
beer.
don't like dark beer.
Sour.
It's not
No,
sour.
not bitter. How about
It's
that?
Bitter,
it's
maybe,
pretty
but
bitter.
not sour.
I will give
Hoppy.
this beer.
Hoppy. I don't know. Mine's
I'll give it a
hopping.
5.9.
5.9.
5.9.
I'll go 6.9.
6.9. Wow.
Yeah, I give it a 7.4. I'm a fan,
You like
so
it. You like it.
This is my favorite that we've tried so
I'm gonna
far.
go an 8. It's a good IPA.
There we go,
There
Cody.
we go.
Oh,
Matty
get
Troll.
some, Connor.
I don't know this one.
You know this guy, Cody, but you don't know.
anybody
Yeah.
else?
Oh,
Well, yeah, you can tell this is something Cody would
Oh,
listen
yeah,
to.
that's my jam. You
crazy.
All right, let's
All
move
right.
on.
Jam right there. Sammy Adams.
Cody's like, oh, I like rap music. Oh yeah, who's your favorite rapper? Fucking Sammy Adams.
No, Mac Miller for sure.
Oh,
There you
Mac
go.
Miller.
Little Dicky.
All right,
like Lil
so that
Dicky.
was this week's beer review. Let's get into our segment. Probably your favorite segment. Bring it
Segment.
to the table. I'm going to go first because mine relates to what we just did there with the beer review.
Oh boy.
So a new article has come out. I posted it on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook today. So supposedly we should stop drinking, guys. We should just, according to the Wall Street Journal,
False.
false. What?
We should not stop
Oh,
drinking.
I hear you. But they said men are urged to limit alcohol to 1 drink a day amid new concerns.
Why just men?
That's a good question. Apparently, women can have 2 drinks per day, is what I read.
Have you seen all this aluminum can stuff? So apparently, like the quarantine, so everybody was drinking pop and beer and stuff at home instead
Right.
of at the bar drinking bottles.
Right.
So there's like a severe aluminum can shortage across.
Interesting.
So
There's a
I know,
shortage for everything.
like Truly's is not even. They're not even producing right now because of the aluminum shortage.
Put them in something else.
So speaking of shortages,
Put 'em in
you guys know the
bags.
coin shortage?
I don't understand
That's
that
You
at
think
all.
bullshit.
it's fake?
It's
I think
bullshit.
it's so we'll
I
use
think
our
so.
credit cards
Yeah.
and they can.
I was
control us.
at speaking of the coin shortage. I was at Kroger the other day, and they
No
wouldn't
way.
they wouldn't let me pay. All I had was cash on me, and I forgot my wallet at home.
Are you fucking
Yeah, they
serious?
said we
would-
are strictly card only right now.
Oh, I'd be like,
They
fuck
got
you.
you.
I'm taking my.
I was
change.
trying to get a 12-pack of Bud Light.
That's it.
So I
Yeah.
think we're all good on fuck the Wall Street Journal. Right?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, they don't even. They're not a legit source.
Yeah,
This is my-
we know
my only
somebody.
beer today.
Yeah, we know somebody from the Wall Street Journal's listening. So fuck you.
Yeah. Write a different article. Fuck that. Nobody needs that shit.
We don't need
Sound like
that.
a bunch
okay.
of grumpy old men.
we don't need no negative.
Yeah, we don't need no negativity in our lives.
Tell us how.
If that's the case, like somebody commented on it today and said, if that's the case, I'm drinking all 7 on Saturday.
See, like somebody
Shout
like
out to
Matt
you.
had to have written that article because that's the only thing I come up with. Just a douchebag like Matt.
You know, Drew, it was nice when you were gone, and then
Yeah, so we haven't seen Drew in 2.5 weeks, and Matt walks in and Drew, fuck you, Drew.
on
fuck you,
on
Matt.
Instagram Live.
Right on live on Instagram.
So are you live? And then took the phone from me and threw it.
So,
Dick.
all right then, Matt. What are you bringing to the table today, Matt?
Oh, it's on me.
Yep, it's you right now.
All right.
You're
Well, how's everyone doing?
Go ahead and type something in Google. Make something up.
Yeah, for real.
Did you
Table
see
segment.
who made their comeback on Twitter this week or last week?
Who's that?
Twitter. No.
Yeah, they tweeted for the first time. Last time they tweeted before last week was 1/12 of 2014.
Wait, I think I
6
did see
years.
this.
So they popped up on Twitter and just said, "Hey, just checking in,
Who is it?
Blockbuster."
Why?
So they were live on Twitter for about 6 hours, and they retweeted, "Okay, we've seen enough. Checking out."
I heard
So-
on the radio that there's a Blockbuster. you can
There's-
stay-
yeah.
Is that what you're gonna? Is that
They were
the-
promoting. There's one last Blockbuster.
Yeah, I saw
And
them.
you can. It's on Airbnb for $4 a night, but it's sold out for the rest of the year. So
what
you
are
can.
you gonna do?
So the
Inside
Blockbuster
the
itself
Is there movies in
has
there?
closed down, but you have everything's like going to Blockbuster.
Yeah,
in the
they have
90s.
all the I did see that.
And you spend the night there. They have couches set up, big theater rooms, and you're using VCRs. Even like the Doritos and Coke cans are like back in the 90s.
Well, that's pretty.
Can I
sweet.
just say it? Fuck Blockbuster. We need a Hollywood
That's
video, dude. You remember when there was
Blockbuster
one
was-
by Kroger?
Blockbuster
Yeah.
was my shit.
I used
man.
to-
Going
I
to
did
get
more
a
video games than I did-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The worst
the
was though
movies.
when you used to get a movie and it wasn't rewound already.
Oh, that was terrible.
Okay, I never
Yeah.
had to deal with VCRs,
Or
but
you got the game or the DVD and it was scratched. and it
Oh,
wouldn't
then you had to
play.
it
take it
wouldn't
back.
work. Yeah,
That was
that
the
shit.
And your
worst.
parents are like, we aren't going back.
Yep.
No, the
And then-
worst was you get home, you're ready to play, you open it, the fucking disc is
Not
in
even
there.
he stole it.
And then they gotta go say, "Mom, my
Well,
disc isn't in there."
towards the end, they started keeping the game disc behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And then their
They got
candy
Yeah.
selection while you were checking out, that's where I always hurt my mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
you'd
used
have
to-
to go
yeah.
up there with the case, and then they'd
File through 5,000 games. Be like, oh, we actually don't have that one.
Blockbuster. How about it? What do you got today, Drew?
So, do you guys follow Bert Kreischer on Instagram?
Love.
Nope.
Why do I know that? I don't.
He's a
I know the
stand-up
name.
He's a
comedian.
stand-up comedian.
I talked
It's a
about
guy
it
with the
when we
shirt
were
off.
together.
Cody
Oh, yeah.
talks about him.
He has
like
a
6
podcast
times a
with
day.
Tom Segura.
Yep.
Dude, so he'll just post random selfies of Tom Segura, like of them on FaceTime or whatever. The one, what was it, 3 days ago, jerked off on FaceTime with Tom Segura like 3 minutes ago. And then like the last one, congrats to my bestie Tom Segura on a successful lap band surgery. You are brave. Get some rest, my king.
Yeah, no. If
Oh,
you guys,
dude, it's so
If
funny.
you don't listen to Two Bears, One Cave, you're not
Oh,
living.
that podcast.
Oh,
You
it is so
it
funny.
is insanely funny. The game that we are going to play later today was inspired by that podcast. I literally listened to their newest podcast today, and they played a game, and we are going to play the same game on
So
this
we're
podcast.
just ripping people off now.
They told us, they literally, if you listen to the podcast, you would know. They said, I want you guys to play this game.
They say Cavemen
on your
Media.
own."
Play this game.
Exactly. But seriously, though, Bert Kreischer is one of the funniest people
Oh, no,
on
dude,
this
he
earth.
is so funny.
Connor, what do you got today?
All right, so we all know Mr. Elon Musk.
Heard of him.
He
Once or
tweeted
twice.
out, I think this was yesterday, Cody's birthday.
Happy birthday,
a
by
tweet,
the way.
It's just the middle of the ocean, and there's a parachute, and there's this little pod just falling to the earth, and this giant ass boat with a net catches it, and it's, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something from the space shuttle that just gets sent down to earth. And anyway, you can watch it. The music is phenomenal in the background too.
All right, so we're watching
That
a
makes it
video
super
of
not
a
interesting.
really big
Yeah,
net.
It's I don't know. It's just that thing falls from space.
Have you
and they
not
catch it
not
on a
seen that
boat.
before? So when the ship goes up, right before it hits the atmosphere, part
they
of it,
drop the
part of
things.
it breaks off, and then the ship.
I
is
thought
actually
it just
a lot smaller.
landed fucking wherever. I didn't know they caught it with a boat.
Yeah, they always. Yeah.
So, speaking on that subject, did you see when the space capsule landed? So, the Coast Guard or whoever went and like sectioned the area off. So, like, I don't know why, but that's just what they did. Like, so they ran people out that were out boating, partying, whatever. Well, these people came in, and I guess it was releasing toxic fumes because obviously it just came through the atmosphere. And these people, like, just, you know, you and me out on a boat were swarming the space capsule when it hit in the Gulf of Mexico. And the coast, and it's international water, so the Coast Guard can't really do shit about it. So
Right.
there's just tons of boats, like, swarming the space capsule as it landed
it
in the
lands
water.
in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Yo, isn't international waters like wild? You can just go out there.
Yeah,
and,
you
like,
can do whatever the
kill
fuck you
somebody.
want.
So
It's
and
nobody's
surprisingly, it's
jurisdiction.
not far off the coast.
It's
like when
it's
you go deep
6
sea
miles,
fishing,
ain't it?
or like in Florida, we used to do the casino boats. You couldn't you can drink, but you cannot gamble until you hit international waters.
Yeah, I watched a video on it. Like 2 miles out is the whatever country, and then farther than that is like some other. Well, I don't know what they call it, but
Yeah.
It's basically regulated by nobody.
nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
Literally nothing.
which I mean, it's kind of
Could you
impossible
imagine how many
to
dead bodies are
regulate.
dumped out there?
Oh,
Yeah, that's where
millions.
Dexter used to
Yeah,
take
that
all
was
the
a
bodies.
weird way to take
Yeah.
that.
I'm
but
just saying.
Still, yeah.
Cody's like, I'm gonna kill
So
you,
last
take you
week-
to international waters.
Last week we teased like huge breaking news. I was very excited about it. I got a little bit ahead of myself because Matt told us we weren't allowed to talk about it, but now I think we can talk about it because obviously Matt changed his Instagram name. If you didn't already see that, he is now.
I don't know how many
Matt
people.
He's at Matt the Popo.
Yeah.
He is no longer Matt the Ranger, which I'm pretty sad about because Matt the Ranger just rolls off the tongue now.
Well, I was thinking Rowdy Randolph, but then he had to go do something
So-
stupid like that, which isn't
Ooh, I kind of
surprising.
like. I wonder if that's
So
We've
available.
said that to you
So
multiple
Ranger
Rowdy
times.
time,
Randolph?
Ranger time is officially dead, so we will need to come up with a new segment.
Hashtag Cody killed Ranger time.
This time I did not.
He did.
kill Ranger
Nope.
time.
Cody inspired me.
Yeah,
to-
Cody
to do
inspired
this.
Matt.
Go
Can
ahead,
we just
Matt.
play the intro to Cops
Tell
since
us-
Yeah.
Cops
tell us
isn't
the
a
name.
thing anymore?
Bad boy, bad boy, what you want? Sorry.
Yeah. Always too far.
So Matt,
I mean, if you can't pick up on what we're talking about, I'm leaving the Ranger field and going back to a more
Field?
traditional municipality police department. We won't drop the name of it.
Good for you. No, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Sad that about Ranger time and Matt the Ranger, just like I said, it just rolls off the tongue. So we want you to send us new ats for Matt. So what should his Instagram, Twitter name be? What kind of police-related Matt name can we come up with?
I'm not going to lie, Drew, so far, I kind of like Rowdy Randolph. My only stipulation to this is I would like to have it be the same on Instagram and Twitter.
Yes.
So it has to be available on both.
Fair. That's fair. Very fair.
We got to come up with a new segment. It can't be Ranger time now. It's got to be
Rowdy Randolph 6969.
Whoa!
So we will need to come up with a new segment name and a new at for Matt.
I can tell you there's going to be a
send
lot
those
more
in.
stories from where I'm
Your
going.
at should
I
be
look
at.
Oh,
forward
yeah.
to
When you
that.
said where you're going,
Yeah.
I almost did it.
It's a very,
I'm like, oh, fuck.
very urban
I meant to
area.
ask you that what the area.
It's a
It's-
ghetto. It's a ghetto.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's going to be
Moving
fun.
on.
I'm looking forward to it.
What we're
Leave
going to
it
do
in.
now, we talked about it early in the show. Obviously, I took this game that we're about to play off of Two Bears, One Cave podcast. So this is a game for you three. So what we're going to do, I'm going to give you guys a subject. And it's going to start with Connor to Drew to Matt. And you're going to have to name as many as you can. Once it gets back to your turn, if you don't have a name, you're out. Whoever lasts the longest wins. The subject of today is presidents.
Oh, fuck.
So there has been...
I'll win this.
There's been
I'm out,
45 presidents of the United States. So it's going to start with Connor. He names a president. Drew names a president. Matt names a president. We just keep going around. Whoever gets their turn, they can't name a president, they're out.
Phone's
then
on the table.
After that, that's
Phone's
not
on the table.
that's not the end of the game. At the end of that first round, there's 2 rounds. At the end of that round, I'm going to say a name of a president that you didn't name, and you have to say that was a president or it wasn't a president.
All right.
How much you want to bet on this, Matt?
I'll put 50 right now on me
Drew is
losing.
very, very confident.
I
Matt,
can name
not confident or
4
what?
presidents.
All right, so we'll start with Connor. Connor, name a president. Go.
Trump.
Donald Trump.
Obama.
Barack Obama.
George Washington.
Good.
Bush.
George Bush.
George Bush.
Okay,
George Bush Sr.
good.
That was my next one.
To Matt.
Theodore Roosevelt.
McKinley.
Abraham Lincoln.
Fuck, I'm out.
To
Exactly.
Matt. I mean, seriously?
Bill Clinton.
Okay.
Gerald Ford.
Where's my turn?
It's
Gerald Ford.
Jimmy Carter.
Okay. James Carter.
Henry Smars.
No.
Henry Ford. Oh,
Really?
wait, George Ford.
You're out that quick?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, you haven't even named half of the presidents.
They weren't alive.
Are you
not
out?
alive.
Are you
Yeah,
out
I'm
for real?
done.
You're out? Are you
I'm
serious?
out as well. I
Oh
think.
my-
Kennedy.
Are you kidding me?
Kennedy.
Landon Johnson.
Dude, George, you said George, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison,
Jefferson was a president?
Anderson,
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson. Like, you guys didn't
Thomas
even-
Edison.
Don't say you guys. I could have kept going for
Did
fucking
somebody say
half
Abe
an hour.
Lincoln at least?
Yeah, he said Lincoln.
I said Lincoln.
Bush, Lincoln, Obama, Trump. That's about it.
Ronald Reagan? I mean, you guys were...
Yeah.
that was
Don't
rough.
quit saying you
All right,
guys.
so here's what we're going
You
to do.
too.
So Drew won round
Drew
one. Is that
won
how this
round
works?
one.
Good job, Drew.
And so what I'm
I
going to
like
do next
history,
is
I'm
I'm going
sorry.
to say a name. It could be made up or it could not be. I'm going to say a name, and you have to tell me if that was a president. All right? So
Okay.
first one is Calvin Coolidge. Was that a president, or did I just make that up?
False.
I'm going false.
True.
That was the 30th president of the United States, Calvin Coolidge.
Don't act like you knew it. You
I
just
did
said
know
true.
that. I did know that.
Who was the
That's why I let
31st?
you guys say it, because I knew you were following my lead.
All right, so I'm going to say another name, and you have to tell me if that was a president. The next one is Woodrow Smith. Woodrow Smith, excuse me. Woodrow Smith. Was that a president, or did I just make that up?
False.
Connor?
Wait on Drew.
He was not a president.
He was not a president.
Not a president, you're right. It was Woodrow Wilson was the name that I made up there.
See, I did know Woodrow.
All right, so next one that I've got for you guys is real or not real president James Buchanan.
False.
I'm going to go true.
True.
James Buchanan was the 15th president of the United States of America. So
I'm
I believe
brushed up
Drew's
on
got
my-
quite the lead here.
Well, not quite. He's one up, but
All right.
I should have got like 12 points for the first round. You guys named like 2 presidents
I
each.
thought you guys would at least go a couple rounds on the
Presidents,
On that, so.
that's the worst
I mean, we
topic.
definitely win a couple.
All right, so next one I've
I
got
want to
for
play
you.
this game next week with a new topic.
Oh, we are.
Fucking
We
bullshit.
absolutely will. So next one for you, real or not real, President John Tyler.
Not real.
Real or
False.
not real?
False.
John Tyler
Why are you talking like that?
was the 10th president of
I did not know
the
that
United
one.
States.
John Tyler. He's got 2 first names.
I will be honest, there is
It's like
a
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
there's
the
a
fuck?
list here of 45 presidents, and I mean,
I definitely
These
thought there's
guys-
been 47.
I can, if I
Yeah,
hear
Trump's
the
number
name, I can
45.
probably say yes or no. The majority, I did not know that one.
I mean, some of the, Zachary Taylor, that was a president of the United
I went
States.
to school with
He
a
is
guy
now,
named Zach Taylor.
Isn't that the
Zach Taylor's a fucking man, boys. I don't know what
he's
to
the
tell you.
head coach of the,
Well, it
of
sounded
the
like he was
Cincinnati
about to-
Bengals now?
to lose.
Oh yeah.
President, the coach of the Bengals.
So
Talk about
I'm going to go ahead and wrap this game up
if you
because
believe you can achieve.
I mean the amount of
Whatever
names
he
that you
said.
guys left out. I mean Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy. I feel like Nixon.
Quit
all
saying
of those
you
names
guys.
were not mentioned.
I didn't
How
get
many
the,
presidents were assassinated? 4.
No, so you have Kennedy,
3.
Kennedy, Lincoln,
Lincoln, and
and Reagan.
Reagan. They tried, but he didn't die. He did get shot.
I mean, I can try to do some quick research for you, but
It's
so
either
that
3 or
game
4.
was called "How Dumb Are We?" and we will do a quick
And Connor
a
and Matt are
weekly,
pretty
Okay.
fucking dumb.
Subjective to the fucking topic
a
of the
weekly
game.
segment of "How Dumb Are We?" So we
How
will do
dumb
that.
are
We are not. Connor and Matt are.
All right, you know what? Next week we're doing fucking
4
porn stars.
presidents were assassinated. Okay, so
Four,
you got
I was
Garfield.
right.
Garfield, McKinley,
Garfield.
and JFK were the 4 that
McKinley.
were
You're telling me
assassinated.
Garfield is
I knew
after a
Garfield.
president?
Yeah.
Roosevelt and Reagan were attempted assassinations. So
Attempted.
there you go. Well, that's your weekly segment of How Dumb Are We? And
Connor and
Pretty
Matt
dumb.
are pretty dumb.
pretty dumb. All right, that's all we got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed that interview
Did
with
not.
Daniel.
I thought you meant the game. I thought you meant the game.
Jeez.
I thought you meant the game.
Hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Daniel Kelly. Like I said, former New York Jet scout. A crazy story,
Yeah.
great story. We're gonna have him on again just to talk football in general.
Yeah, if you're into football, check it out. He has name drops and
The
dealt
name
with a lot
drops.
of people.
The name drops in that interview were pretty awesome. So we appreciate him taking the time. We'll definitely have him on again. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's show. Stay tuned for the bloopers. Have a great week. Follow Connor at Real Connor Gray, myself at Sports.Ohio, Drew at Drew Layton 11, Matt at what are you at right
Matt
now?
the
At
At
suggestions.
Matt the Popo and at your suggestions. So make sure you send those in to us so we can get Matt a new name and a new name for Ranger Time too, because Ranger Time is dead for real. Have a great week. We appreciate you guys. Vlog coming out on Friday from Connor.
Everybody love everybody.
ELE, everybody love everybody. Connor, play some music.
Bye.
Hello, it's Daniel.
Daniel, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good to have you. All right, so we're welcoming on to the Cavemen Media Podcast, former New York Jets scout, aspiring NFL GM, lifelong Redskins fan, and author of the most controversial book in sports, Whatever It Takes. So, first of all, just welcome on to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be on. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you taking the time. And first of all, I just want to just tell us a little bit about your story. So, you were a fan of the game, and somehow you got yourself into the New York Jets organization.
Yes. It was an incredible journey. It started out when I was growing up in Minnesota. It was my parents actually had a football game. I was about 8 years old, and they were big fans of the Minnesota Vikings, the hometown team, and they were playing the Washington Redskins on an old RCA television in the corner of their living room, and to me, I was just magnetized to the game. I was magnetized specifically to the Washington Redskins. I mean, I was love at first sight for an 8-year-old kid. The colors, the team, Joe Gibbs, the Hogs, RFK Stadium, Reagan, just everything about the team resonated with who I was, and there was no looking back. There was no second favorite team at that point. It was just Redskins, and I grew into it more and more and became more and more passionate as the days, the weeks, months, and years that followed. How passionate did I get? Well, after the Redskins won the Super Bowl my first season as a fan, when I was 8, they beat the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl 17. Then the next year they went back and lost to the Raiders in Super Bowl 18, and I threw up and missed 3 days of school. So I was pretty into it, I guess you could say. And it's just the passion, like I said, grew from that point. I was my every birthday, Christmas, every kind of mowing the lawn, get some extra money around, gathered. I was buying something Redskins or receiving something Redskins for a gift. It got to a point where my entire bedroom was a Redskins shrine growing up in Minnesota, and that's all I did. If I wasn't thinking about the Redskins, I was talking about the Redskins. If I wasn't talking about the Redskins, I was daydreaming about them. If I was daydreaming, I was reading about them. And I was just fanatical. Just off the charts, fanatical. And
So Daniel, tell me this. Tell me this. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but so you were I personally, I'm a diehard Browns fan. I mean, it's tattooed on my legs. I have season tickets. I love the Cleveland Browns, just like you love the Redskins when you were younger. However, I don't know how I can get myself from sitting on this podcast to into the facility in Berea as a scout in the NFL. So tell me, how did you go from in Minnesota, fan of the Redskins, to a scout with the New York Jets?
Well, what happened was just this burning passion that I'm alluding to. I was all about football. I was all about the Skins, and so I wanted to play, but didn't get big enough to play. I played 1 year of high school football. Was no good at it. I was the only kid on my team. In fact, not the letter. I didn't have enough playing time. I was so bad. I played left end. And my parents at 17, to get to your question, how I got in, it really started when I was 17. I found my niche, if you will. My parents got me a book called Tony Lozano's Secrets of the NFL Scout, and it was a book written by the former 49ers player personnel director, Tony Lozano, who was with Bill Walsh throughout their dynasty in the 80s. And it was, I couldn't put it down. I read it, backwards, forward, sideways. I just couldn't put the book down. I analyzed everything that he said, and I thought, this is it. I want to be an NFL scout. So I started taping games right away, and I started taping and watching games, writing reports. For my senior year, I wrote a 75-page report to send out to GM Charlie Casserly with the Redskins. And, he said, hey, check back after your first and second year of college. You're still too young. I barely passed through high school because I was so in love with football, failed out with small community college. Found myself at 21 years old working at Allstate Insurance, and there was an ad on sports radio show that the first 32 callers call in. Come into the Minnesota Vikings team facility. You can represent a team on the air, mock draft. I had 9 open phone lines as an insurance agent, so I called. I was dialed like crazy. And absolutely. And I ended up being the second caller. Well, that turned out to, put me inside the Minnesota Vikings headquarters, where I did the announcement who the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I thought they would draft that year, Tony Boselli, which they ended up drafting. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw Tony Dungy when he was the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. And I took all my old scouting reports I did with the Redskins, presented them to him. He's like, hey, this stuff is pretty good. Why don't you come to my office next week to sit down and talk? So I did that. That turned into a 6-month. Yeah, it was incredible. It really was. It was a six-month unpaid internship with Coach Dungy. So the passion just kind of carried me into this, if you will. To being there with Coach Dungy, and then I went into he left for Tampa Bay. I went back into the real world. I sold Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door, bounced from job to job. I went through a really rough time. Went through a big breakup. I got evicted from my apartment. I got my vehicle repossessed. It was a nightmare. And I found myself suddenly working at Bank of America Mortgage at 24. And I don't know if any of our listeners can identify with this, but I was like, what am I doing here? My dream is to be an NFL scout, and And to me, it's better to go for it and give everything I have than wonder what if. It's like we always like to on every Monday morning, after the game, it's like, well, what if they would have done this? And what if they, I didn't want to be that guy that always wondered what if, sitting on a bar stool someday wondering, what would happen had I gone for it. So I went for it. Ideas started going through my mind. Hey, I got a little satellite dish. I could stop the Target, buy some pens and paper, call Greg TDs, subscribe to their college football package. And so I did. I worked, all day at the Bank of America as a loan officer, and I moonlighted as a scout for 7 months at night. And that turned into be an amazing time, an amazing project that actually resulted in me self-publishing a 350-page 1998 NFL draft report that I paid $2,300, which is all the money I had at the time, plus probably the next 2 paychecks. I spent another $1,300 in credit. And I personalized every one of these books, which included all my handwritten notes to prove to teams I didn't copy anybody or try to copy one of these Mel Kickers or one of these types. And I sent these reports out overnight mail for another $1,300 on credit, on a credit account. And I sent them out northeast, south, and west. My entire Chevy Blazer was filled with these books. And I put everything I had into it, all my time, all my energy, all my dreams, hopes, all my tears, blood, sweat, and tears, the whole thing. I mean, I put everything into this thing with absolutely no guarantees. And I sent it out as my quote-unquote resume, with the rabbit ears, as my resume. The box was about 10 pounds. Each box was personalized to every GM, head coach, and director of player personnel in the NFL. And I sat back and waited to see what the response would be. And that's when the call came from the New York Jets.
Okay. So you get the call from the Jets. I'm sure you're freaking out. And you're super excited, and you get this gig with the Jets as a scout. So tell me quickly about what did you do with the Jets specifically, how long were you with the Jets, and what happened with the Jets?
Well, I was with the Jets for 4 seasons, from 1998 to 2002. I was hired on staff by Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. My direct boss was Scott Pioli, who went on to become NFL executive of the decade. Of course, Scott started his career with the Cleveland Browns way back in the day with Belichick and Mike Lombardi and those guys. I was on staff with all of them. We had a star-studded staff. I was a pro personnel assistant my first 2 years, so I worked under Scott Pioli in the pro department with JoJo Wooden, who's now the director of player personnel for the Chargers. And, so what I did primarily, the cornerstone of the operation was information gathering. So there was a ton of information gathering, a ton of the informational input into the Jet Scout computer system. And that's really the foundation of the whole pro scouting department, was just information gathering. So I worked also, so Mike Tannenbaum was on our staff as our contract negotiator. So I did a lot of research projects for Mike. Mikey Teasy was known around the building, and for salary cap, because he always taught me, that agents like to negotiate subjectively, and it's a club's responsibility to negotiate objectively. So it's just a lot of administrative work, a lot of stuff like that the first 2 years. Third season was they moved me into becoming when Pioli and Belichick and all the guys left up with the Patriots. They put me in a role as the special team scout. I believe I was the first ever special team scout in the NFL. And what that resulted in was another 350-page book where I analyzed every kickoff return, punt return player in the NFL, and really developed a revolutionary system that can build the best depth in the NFL and also field the best special teams in the NFL. That was an incredible project I worked on around the clock. In my fourth season, I was the scouts of the other leagues, like the Canadian Football League, arena football leagues, looking at different tapes that, free agent guys, street free agent guys will send in. And so that was my 4 years at the Jets. It was, working around the clock in football in different capacities. I worked with an amazing group of coaches and front office executives, and it was just an amazing experience that I look back at very fondly.
I can't even imagine what that would have been like to be inside the facility and that close with coaches and players and doing that work for the game that you love, the game that I love too.
So, Daniel.
It was surreal. It was surreal. It really was. I mean, walking down the hallway and there's Bill Parcells. I mean, I watched growing up, they put the Gatorade over his head. And, Bill Belichick walked right past me right before he opened up the door to the press conference. Where he said, "Hi, Dan." I said, "Hey, Coach." And, he walked in and turned down the job and went to New England. I mean, seeing Lawrence Taylor at practice, Parcells had him out to talk to the guys. Joe Namath walked by me in the hallway. I went to the 4th straight NFL scouting combine. So Indianapolis, walked right by Bill Walsh when he's watching the quarterback throw in the end zone. Sat next to Al Davis and Eric Dickerson in the stands. I mean, it was surreal. I mean, for a guy that was a football, I mean, that's what I am. That's my story. Whatever it takes, what it is. It's being a fan. So the fan didn't come out of me. I was still a big time fan being inside the building. So being around all these guys, it was surreal.
I agree, and I couldn't even imagine. My guy Drew's got a question here for you.
Okay, so you name dropped Belichick, that you was on staff with the team you're working with. Is he as intense behind the scenes as he puts on in the media and everything else?
You referring to Belichick right being the same behind the scenes?
Yes. Is he as intense behind the scenes as he puts off on the media and everything else?
Identical. Yeah, he is what he is. What you see on TV is what he is behind the scenes. He's always very focused, very methodical, very monotone, very deep in thought. The wheels are always turning. Very friendly. He was always great to me. In fact, he loaned me his vehicle for the first month I was at the job so I could find a place to live. Absolutely everything you see, no excuses. That's what he is at the podium, and that's what he is in the building. He doesn't offer any, he doesn't accept any, and he's just a very. I mean, just being around him, you can just feel how smart he is.
I like I said, I can't even imagine. So tell me, I have a couple questions before we let you go. One, I want you to tell me about your book. You said I'm literally just reading your Twitter bio word for word. Author of the most controversial book in sports, whatever it takes. So tell me about the book, why you named it Whatever It Takes, and why you said it's the most controversial book in sports.
Absolutely. The book itself it took me 10 years to write, and it was the most challenging project in my entire life. I found out after my time in the NFL, it was harder to get a book published than it is to make it into the NFL out of nowhere, which is quite a statement within itself. But you walk in Barnes and Noble, it looks like everybody and their brother has read a book. It's an extremely difficult process. I thought it was going to be a slam dunk with my experiences in the NFL. I had a famous literary agent call me from New York when I saw my book proposal. He said, "Listen, Dan, I like what you're trying to do." He said, "Let me level with you." He goes, "You and Bill Parcells can write the exact same book. His is going to get published. Yours is not, because everybody in the world knows who he is. Nobody has any idea who you are." The book was like putting together a 100,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. It came together, even though I can type 90 words a minute, like I said, it took 10 years to write, 130 revised manuscripts. And it was really, just an incredible process. And the process really began way back in 1997, to answer, the second part of your question. It was something where right before I got into the NFL, my first wife, Ruth, actually gave me a keychain. She said, "Close your eyes, I got something for you." And she handed me a keychain and said, "Whatever it takes" on it. And at the moment she handed me that keychain, the thought flashed in my mind that someday you're going to write a book by this title. And years later, I ended up, writing the book, Whatever It Takes. So that's the namesake of it. And, in terms of why it's called the most controversial book in sports, those are other people's words, not mine. And so I just kind of adopted that, because I, as a person, am extremely controversial. Everything I write, everything I do, everything I write for Sports Illustrated, I've written for a number of online publications. I've written for Touchdown Europe. I've been on shows all over the world. And, a lot of times the way I see life and the way I see football is radically different than anybody else sees it. And so a lot of times I'll say things in the book that people just will react to one way or another. So I've done that a lot. So I said, I'm just going to put it on there because a lot of people say it's extremely controversial in some parts, and a lot of people say it's a great story of perseverance. A lot of people have told me it's giving them a hope to pursue their dreams. So I just kind of put that on there.
Daniel, I respect it so much, and you're inspiring me just sitting here listening to your story and how much work you put into it and never giving up and truly doing whatever it takes to get to where you want it to be. I feel like I'm cutting you short, and I want to have you on again to talk more, because I want to talk to you about so much more with the NFL and details of your time with the Jets, and even more about the current NFL and your thoughts on that and what you're doing. But I truly appreciate taking the time.
One last question from you. Okay, so Cody here is a diehard Browns fan. I'm a diehard Bengals fan. Okay, so we got a little rivalry going on in our room here. So, Joey Burrow, as a scout, what's your analysis of Joe Burrow? Is he the man or what?
Well, I can share this with you. Now, I didn't have a chance to write a scout report on Joe Burrow because I interviewed with the Redskins last October, and I was caught up in auditioning for them and writing 50 to 70 page advanced scout reports for the last 9 weeks of the season last year, and that took all of my time, all of my effort, all my energy. But I will share this with you. My mentor is Lionel Vitale, who's the college scouting director of the Dallas Cowboys, and I talked to Lionel several times a week for the last 20 years. He was Belichick's most trusted scout for the first 3 Super Bowls up in New England with Belichick, and he knows Bill Rose, what Ozzie Newsome, Jerry Jones, all these guys. So just to quantify what I'm saying, and he can't stop talking about Joe Burrow. He thinks Joe Burrow is the man. He thinks that he's going to he's going to do a great job. And what he points out is his ability to read defenses, and the calls he can make at the line of scrimmage are much like a vet would even heading into the season as a rookie. There was some talk, not from Lionel, I'm just looking off script here for a minute, but there was some talk if Bill Belichick ever left. I've heard from people I know inside the league, if he ever left New England, the most intriguing job in the league to him at this point is coaching Joe Burrow at quarterback. So that's something.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, going there as the head coach, and if that was,
We'll take him.
Give him a position. If they were to give him a position where he would be, and now again, this is just me. This is not Lionel. This is just me talking. So please understand where it's coming from. These are people I know inside the league. But, if it was a situation where they gave him total control, if something went sideways in New England, let's say, it's a job he'd be interested because he really, from what I hear, I know that people are very high on that quarterback, and a lot of people think he's going to excel at an extremely high level. Again, I didn't have the privilege of evaluating him because I was only sleeping about 2 or 3 hours a night as it was doing that work for Bruce Allen, the Redskins. But I know people just did it like, oh, this guy's the best thing we've seen at quarterback. And I said, well, yeah, that includes like talking about Brady, you talk about this guy, and they're like, yeah, just wait and see, watch what he does. So yeah, I can't say enough good things based on what I've heard from people I trust. I did have a chance to evaluate it myself, but obviously we saw what he did in college, and I think the bar is set as high as this guy goes for the season beyond.
That's what I like to hear.
Daniel, I appreciate it, man. I've got so many more questions for you. I want to have you back on the podcast if you have the time in the future. Football is right around the corner, and we cannot wait. We are diehard football fans. We are fantasy football, and obviously our teams and everything like that. I hope you can come on again. We appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck to you, man.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you to our listeners. And remember, whatever your dream is, it is possible. And possible is just a word in the dictionary. Just wave the punter off the field and go for your dream.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Daniel Kelly, everybody. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Hey, have a good night, man.
Hello?
So I finally listened to Call Her
Daddy,
Call
that
Her
podcast.
Daddy, yeah.
We did talk about that when we were in Gallenberg.
Did we?
Did we?
Yeah. So remember our friends
JC and Emily,
Jason and Emily
yeah.
were talking about it. What about it? What'd you think, Connor? Call Her Daddy podcast.
At first I was just curious about the whole beef that was going on, and that's the
what
only
got me.
reason I listened.
Yep, that's why
And then I listened to the one with Miley Cyrus, and
I haven't
was
listened
like,
to that one yet.
I was kind of out on it, but then I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but I don't know. I might listen to another one.
So you listened to the whole thing?
No.
What'd they talk about?
20 minutes.
What'd they talk about?
They talk about her music and shit at first, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about this. But they were talking about how Miley Cyrus just like had some dildos chilling.
Have you guys ever listened to Call Her Daddy before?
I actually yesterday, the first time I listened to the Miley Cyrus one, because a fucking ad kept coming up on something I was listening to.
Yeah, they did promote that one hardcore.
So I was like, I'll give it a shot. I listened to the whole thing. Yeah, Miley Cyrus uses dildos.
You listened to the whole thing?
Yeah. Miley Cyrus uses dildos as decor in her house.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Could you
Pretty
imagine
lit.
walking in somebody's house and there's just a giant dick sitting on like the entry table as you walk in?
So this is our blooper segment. If you're
It's the hand
wondering.
sanitizer.
So,
You just gotta give it a
Yeah.
rub.
Yeah, just
blooper segment is definitely 18 and up.
This
so.
isn't even the topic I had for bloopers.
So, I listened to Call Her Daddy because Dave Portnoy, the president of Barstool, got on there and was like, there's this whole feud, they were breaking up, whatever. So then I was like, all right, so now I'm going to listen to the girls' side of it. So I started listening to the girls' podcast, and it was like, fuck this, pussy this, sex, blowjobs, hand jobs, like boyfriends, girlfriends. And I'm just like, whoa.
And Miley Cyrus lives by ELE also.
I bet she does.
She doesn't discriminate. She
Bet
loves
she
everybody.
does. What do you got then, Connor? If that wasn't your bloopers, then we're in the bloopers right now.
Okay, so this is the topic I want to talk about. So this happened when we were out in Tennessee. We'll talk about Tennessee later, but Cody learned for the first time what pulling out means. So
Well, he's got 2 kids. We were aware of that.
Yeah. So we're all hanging around.
He's never didn't know,
listen.
not a clue.
We're all hanging around. Well, it was us 3. We're playing pool, right? We're talking about some stuff, and we talked about pulling out. And Cody was like, "So you guys just like pull out and don't finish,
like blue balls?"
Me and Matt just looked at each other. We were like, "Wait, that's not what pulling out means."
So I legitimately thought my pull-out game strong when people say that, meaning like you just got fucking blue balls like a motherfucker.
So you've been thinking that for like 10 years.
At least.
Or 20. Well, yeah.
At least, yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, I mean, I thought you guys just had blue balls.
It goes more than just inside. You can
I got
put
that.
it anywhere.
You guys
Give it the
broke that
shower,
down for me.
buddy.
It's,
Let it rain.
Hey, shout out to birth control. So, cheers.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, well, my girl's not. Shout out to Trojan.
Yeah,
sponsorship.
probably not. All right.
Might get one from Manscaped though.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Quite a bit of tweets
Maybe.
going out.
I just bought some stuff from them. So, all right. So what we're gonna do here?
Oh,
we're
you
gonna
got what is it,
I got the
lawnmower?
lawnmower 3.0.
Hell yeah.
3.0.
Trimmed it up.
He's
All right.
silky smooth.
All right.
Let's have a show.